Koji Koda. That's right, people. Today, Mr. Morfetto, I want to take a deep dive. I want to dissect Koji Koda's character from the My Hero Academia franchise, the My Hero Academia manga, the My Hero Academia anime. I've been slowly but surely going one by one in order of their Class 1A seating charts and dissecting each member of the main class of My Hero Academia, and we have reached Koji Koda. This man did not get his quirk revealed until the end of Season 2. This man was such a mystery for the longest time. You know, when I first started watching My Hero Academia and they introduced 20 students as quote-unquote the main characters of this story, I was a little worried because it seemed like a lot of people to keep track of and a lot of characters to provide character development for. And I almost felt like maybe they should cut it back to 15 characters in each class, maybe, because, and I feel like my worries were warranted, it feels like at least 5 members of Class 1A do not get enough screen time. They still haven't been developed properly. And Koji Koda is one of the least developed characters in Class 1A, hands down. And has one of the most quote-unquote unexciting personalities, which is fine to have a lot of different personalities, and I think Koji is a fine young man, and he probably does his very bestest to become a pro hero, but at no point since he's been in the show, in the anime, have I ever felt like he truly wants to even be a pro hero. Like, especially early on, the first time he really even gets to do anything on screen of note, other than just being in the background, is he teams up with Jiro in the end of Season 2, during the final exams arc, where they go head to head with Present Mike. Present Mark would be a good name for a YouTuber, but Present Mike, who's a badass and way more developed than Koda in the story at this point. You know, I'm really, at this point in the story, I'm all caught up in the manga. A lot of the ways, it feels like the teachers and the adults and the pro heroes almost all of them seem more interesting than some of these students. Either way, Jiro, Best Girl Jiro, and Koda team up against Present Mike, and this is the first time we find out, I believe, that Koda can talk to animals. And first things that pop in my head are Shino from Naruto, and of course Kiba from Naruto. But Koda can talk to all animals, including insects. And for an example, Shino from Naruto was a badass in part 1 of Naruto. He was able to use bugs and his own physical prowess and strategic abilities to take down opponents, even ones that are stronger than him physically. And I thought, man, you know, that ability to use animals to your bend to your will. Even if Koda could only manipulate bugs like Shino, you think, man, that's pretty damn powerful. It can be. Turns out Koda's afraid. He doesn't like to talk a bunch. I did mention that this is the first time we actually get to see him do anything of note. I do believe he gets to team up with with Fumikage during the USJ incident, but he doesn't really get shown doing his quirk then. Either way, he helps Jiro, who gets taken down by Present Mike, sort of, by manipulating bugs to attack Present Mike, and they find a way to win and pass the exam. Yippee hooray, which is great. And like I said earlier, I still don't feel like Koda wants to be here. It almost feels like his dad, who I assume can also manipulate animals, and that's where he gets that quirk from, wants him to be a pro hero. Like, I almost feel like Koda's dad is a pro hero that, made a little bit of a name for himself and probably was a little bit more confident and uses the animal manipulation or the ability to command animals to its fullest extent. Whereas most of the time, Koda is summoning birds to distract the enemy. Usually, very rarely does he do anything other than that. It's usually like pigeons and stuff, like from the second movie. He's usually there. He's mostly a support character more than anything. At best, he's a support hero. I truly believe that Koda will never become a pro hero that commands his own agency. I feel like he's going to be an underling for a stronger, more confident hero. I don't feel like we're ever going to get a arc or even a chapter about Koji Koda's life or background or his motivations. And I think that's sad. And like I said, I feel like maybe they should have made Class 1A 15 people, or give Koda, or switch Koda out. There was a point in Season 2 when Aizawa said to the class, right before the sports festival, if you suck at the sports festival, there are going to be a lot of students there, freshman students there competing, and if we feel like it, we might switch you out. We might take some students from general studies, like Shinzo, and we'll put him in your place, and you will get the heck out of this Class 1A. Class 1A is supposed to be the top diggity dogs in a lot of ways. Class 1A, Class 1B, and it feels like Koji Koda shouldn't be there. He should be somewhere else. He should be getting a job, maybe at a zoo. He'd be great at a zoo. And it says he's the petting hero Anima in his little alias here, in his biographical information. I almost feel like he should be the petting zoo hero Anima. Wouldn't that be cool? The petting zoo hero Anima. I feel like he's like a sweet boy, and I don't think he wants to fight people. I think the only reason he's even trying to fight, and he's even gotten better, is because he wants to help his friends. He seems like a kid that's been sheltered for a long time. I can relate. And he likes to stay home. He likes to play with his rabbit. He probably likes the outdoors a little bit because he can talk to animals. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's a homebody. He might be somebody who likes to be at home with his little cat and his rabbit and his doggy and some birds, and maybe play some video games. I don't know. It definitely felt like he does not want to be in Class 1A. There's no rivalry for him. He feels to me like if there was a tournament, if there was a fighting tournament of one-on-one fights between all the members of Class 1A, I feel like Koji would lose. He would be the bottom of the barrel. Mineta could beat him. I feel like Hagakure could beat him. Based on their confidence alone. He's always in the background. He's never truly had a main event one-on-one fight with a villain, even just a minor villain. He's had a couple little bouts with some jobbers. He's helped his squad here and there during like the joint training arc, sort of. He helped a little bit, but got captured very quickly during the, what's it called? The provisional hero licensing exam. He distracted a bunch of the other students from the other schools with I believe a bunch of birds. And that was pretty much it. I feel like Koji would have been a perfect example of a kid who quit school. Like right now I'm all ahead on the manga. So spoiler alert, there is going to be a war happening with the League of Villains, the Paranormal League of Villains. And after this war, and after shit goes down, and they realize how powerful all the Shigaraki is, and all these things that are going down, and after Endeavor's secret is revealed to everybody, a lot of pro heroes that we know start quitting being pro heroes, left and right. And like, I think his name's Death Arms. I think he quit, and he was kind of a, big hero from the first season that I remember. He quit being a hero, doesn't believe in himself anymore, doesn't want to be in danger. And it feels like Koda and maybe one more student, I don't know who in the class, maybe Higakure, could have quit together, like put their notice in and said, I can't do this, like this is frightening, I just want to go be with my mom and dad, we're leaving the country, we're leaving Japan. Like, that would have been interesting. Like, that would have been a crazy twist of events. And it would have made total sense for Koda, who's got almost zero confidence, and the only confidence he does have is when his friends are in danger and he needs to step up to the plate, which is what a hero does. And I respect Koda for that. But he would have been such a good character to say, hey, shit's getting so real. Japan is on the brink of, like, everybody dying, and this one, all for one taking over, League of Villains, like, just quit. Like, after the war arc, after Midnight got killed, spoilers, Midnight gets killed by Gigantomachia. Maybe when one of his teachers, when she dies and everything starts settling in that this is not a game, heroes will die, this isn't just a 9-to-5 job, you have to work overtime, like, we got to put the work in. Not saying he can't put the work in, but it's scary as fuck. I could see these kids, we should have seen a handful of students, including Koda, putting in their notice saying, I'm gonna just go work at Walmart, or I'm gonna go to regular person college because I'm actually a smart kid and I never really thought I could be a hero to begin with. Wouldn't that have been so real if they put that in there? I'm sure there are a lot of Koji Koda fans out there. I think he's cool as a person. I never truly care about the kid. He's never given the proper amount of time to be developed. To be honest, there's nothing for him. He can manipulate animals, and that really could be an OP ability if he had the confidence to do so properly. The kid barely has a few lines. I think the biggest impact this guy could have made to the story would have been like a little bit of a flashback of maybe his dad or his mom forcing him to go into hero school, and him just being so scared, trying to be plus ultra, and like wasn't really sure if he could even do it in the first place, and his dad's like, you can do it, you can control animals like me. Do it, son. Be a football player. That kind of dad. Like that kind of dad. The one that wants their kid to play football in school, but they're like, but I like playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I like to play Magic the Gathering. I'm not really into contact sports, Dad. He's like, but you're a big rock-looking dude. You can do this. And he kind of just does it to impress his parents. He gets the right grades, and he finds a way to qualify to be in Class 1A, which is awesome. And then he's like, shit, now I'm here. What do I do? And he really doesn't get to do anything of note until he teams up with Jiro. And he gets past his fear of bugs, which is like the only development we ever get for this guy. He gets to help here and there. He never really gets his own arc, his own personal goals. And I think that if after the war he realizes that, people are dying, my teachers are dying. Midnight could have been someone that had been helping him with his school that we didn't know about. Like after class, maybe telling him, you can do this, Koji. She seems like a really nice lady. I know a lot about her character thanks to the My Hero Academia Vigilantes arc, or manga. And her death was meaningful, and it could have been meaningful for these kids, even if it was inspiration for Koji to be like, I'm not meant to do this. And that's fine. You know how many kids and adults go into school for years and realize they can't hack it, or they're not really actually into being a veterinarian or something, or they really don't like the subject they decided to try and master. 2 years in, they've already spent $30,000, if not more, on college money or loans, and then they changed their subject. They changed their goal in life. I could see this happening to a young high school student who's his first year in, and he has to go to war. His first year. He finishes his first year. That's cool. And he upgrades his ability to speak to animals more. Really, the whole time that Koji's in this show, in Class 1A, he just talks about, like, anytime he gets a quote-unquote upgrade, it's just, I can speak farther and louder, and I can yell, and more animals will listen to me from farther away. I'm better at commanding animals. I'm a little bit like a hair more confident. He doesn't get a lot of development. He gets less development than Haigakure, or about the same. She's more interesting, I guess, because she's invisible. She's a little more confident. I just feel like Koji would have been the perfect example of a kid who thought they could do something and said, never mind, I've always actually wanted to just be a veterinarian. Wouldn't it have been crazy if Koji was like, my family is frightened and they realize that this job is so dangerous, and my dad was pushing me into this, but he understands that I literally had to go to war after my first year in Class 1A, and I could have died. I'm only a semi-pro hero now, which is pretty good for him. And the only reason I passed that class was because of the support from my classmates, which won't always be there for me. I truly believe if Koji was caught off guard by himself against a villain, he would be murdered. No matter how many animals he's got. If he got caught off guard by even a semi-strong villain, I feel like Koji would be killed by Spinner. This kid doesn't have the confidence. He's got animals to help him, which is good, and he might be able to get away, but he'll never take down the top diggity dog villains, or even the medium diggity dog villains. And that's okay. He's a kid. He doesn't know what he's getting into. He thought this is what he wanted. Maybe his parents pushed him into this. But it's time for him to realize that maybe he should just go help out like a zoo, the petting zoo hero. That's what he should be. Anima, he's a sweet kid that just wants to, help animals and help his friends. And it doesn't mean he can't hang out with Class 1A kids anymore. He might need to just take a step back. Go home. Go play some Magic the Gathering. Play some Yu-Gi-Oh! Hang out with your animals. Open a reserve to protect animals from poaching. That's the kind of life I can see Koji having. Do I believe that he's the traitor of Class 1A? No. Do I believe Koji will ever get any more development? No. Do I believe that his character is ever going to matter to the story in any impactful way? No. Because there are loads of amazing kids in Class 1A and loads of amazing teachers and pro heroes in this My Hero Academia universe that people love, that have had way more character development in less than a chapter than Koji Koda has had. And I just don't feel like this kid truly matters to the story. He has his own goals in life that we don't truly know about. But I do not believe this kid will ever become anything of true note in the My Hero Academia world. And if he does, it's going to be off screen and we're just going to hear about it. And it's never going to be I don't think he's going to do anything of true heroic note for the future of this story against any major villains. He might be there to support them. He might summon some animals to distract them like he's been doing and give them a little bit of an edge, but he will never, and I mean never, take down a main villain. Even somebody like Spinner. I'm Mr. Morfetto. What do you think of Koji Koda? I think he's a cool kid. I think he would have been a prime example of a student quitting and then maybe opening a spot up in Class 1A for Shinzo to take. Ooh, buddy, where am I going with this? He would have been a perfect person to quit, open up a spot, bring in Shinzo, the man, the myth, the legend, who also has another type of talking ability. Comment down below. Let me know what you think of this kid. What do you think they should do with his character? Do you believe that I'm right and he would have been the perfect example of somebody who could quit? And show that kids aren't always 100% sure about what they want to do with their lives, especially in high school. I will talk to you later. Please subscribe to the Mr. Morfetto YouTube page. Our next student will be Sato, Sugarman.